It's the Jones Family Travels Battle Royale.
No!
Marvel Day at Sea or Star Wars Day at Sea?
Marvel shall win.
Marvel will win. Marvel will win. You want to go? I will snap.
Who do you guys think is going to win?
Before we kick off the battle as to which Disney cruise is better, let's just talk a little bit about what these cruises are like. So each cruise has one day that is themed after the franchise that cruise is for. So a Star Wars Day at Sea has one Star Wars themed day, and a Marvel Day at Sea has one Marvel Day at Sea. This is not like the Halloween or Christmas cruises that Disney does, where the entire cruise is themed according to the holiday or the franchise. You really only get one opportunity to experience all the Marvel or all the Star Wars on these cruises. That's not to say there isn't other little hidden gems throughout your entire cruise. So they did have like a big Star Wars Day at Sea photo backdrop the entire cruise for our 7-night Disney Star Wars Day at Sea cruise. But you only get one day. Our battle is which themed day was better. We're going to look at character meet and greet opportunities, show quality, dinner, because they each have a themed menu, and overall guest experience on these specialized days.
Before we start, make sure to give us a thumbs up. If not, you don't want to know what will happen. Just kidding. Go ahead and give us a like. We won't snap.
And subscribe.
So
you can join us on our many adventures. Let's first dive into characters. Now, the Star Wars cruise and the Marvel cruise, I think the characters was a huge part for the Jones family. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, so we skipped everything else and focused on the characters. Don't worry about the aqueduct or the aqueduct. Oh no, it was all about the characters. So character-wise, what characters did you like the best on the Star Wars cruise?
Probably the Empire Officers, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were pretty funny.
So the fact that Kelly is even having a hard time remembering Star Wars characters should tell you what you need to know about the Star Wars Day at Sea.
So maybe I should chime in on that since I'm a big Star Wars fan. There were actually several characters I loved. I did love the Imperial Officers because they were everywhere. They were on the decks, they were by the pool. They were in the elevator. Didn't you guys run into them on the elevator? Which was so funny.
Yeah.
But they were amazing. I thought they were great. I loved these guys. The stormtroopers. They were everywhere. Again, detaining people in the elevator. They were by the pool, just wandering around the pool. It was awesome to see them everywhere. I loved that part of it.
And to that point, I wasn't on the Marvel cruise, but from what I could see in the vlog footage compared to the Star Wars footage, the character meet and greets on the Marvel cruise seem much more formal, for lack of a better term, whereas on Star Wars, you had a few formal ones, but it was really characters just wandering all over the ship. Was that the case with Marvel too, or was it only the formal meet and greet?
So there definitely were characters wandering around, but it was on deck 4, right? Was it deck 4? Deck 4 or deck 5? They were in a very specific area, but you didn't see them as much. You saw those Star Wars characters
Like non-stop all day.
Yeah, we ran into those Imperial Officers like 20 times in the Bippity Boppity Boutique and, you know, the restaurants, everywhere. But the Marvel characters, it really was meet and greets where you went up, you had a reservation, or you went up and waited in line to meet with them. You did see a few characters, the Guardians of the Galaxy guys, we never saw them, but they were wandering the halls.
I was the only one that
saw them. Did you
saw
see them?
Yeah, I saw them too.
You saw them too?
Yeah.
Well, we missed out. But they were supposedly wandering the halls. You definitely saw Hawkeye and Black Widow were wandering the halls, but I saw her, I never saw him. And we were out the whole entire time. So you're right, the Star Wars characters, you had tons of opportunities to see them, not so much on the Marvel cruise.
And so that brings up another question I have, which is quality of characters. I would say, just looking at the vlog footage and based on my experience in Star Wars, that Marvel had much better quality characters. Okay. Yes, you had the stormtroopers and the Imperial officers all over the place and you ran into them all the time, but those are kind of extraneous characters. Like, it's not like the classics. Like, I don't think you had almost any Rebel characters other than Chewbacca, R2-D2, and C-3PO.
Yeah.
Beyond
there's
that,
also those
it was
two.
all Imperial. Yeah, there's 2 random cartoon ones that nobody knows.
Oh, I thought they were guest dressed up.
Yeah.
The costumes
thought
were
they were
that
too.
bad. I'm just saying.
Yeah, so
I thought they were just
so
guest
there was almost
costumes.
no quality Rebel characters on the Star Wars cruise.
Yeah.
But it seemed like anybody and everybody, including Captain Marvel, was on the Marvel cruise.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I would
that
say the
was my
quality of characters was better on the Marvel cruise.
Yeah, and their costumes. Thor's costume was awesome. He was amazing.
So was Loki's.
Loki's. Oh yeah,
He
you
even
got to
had
see
like
Loki.
he even had the what's it called?
Staff.
The staff.
So for Marvel, just like Star Wars, you had an opportunity to make advanced reservations for specific characters. Star Wars Cruise, you made reservations for Darth Vader, C-3PO, R2-D2, Chewbacca.
Chewbacca.
Right. So those,
And that's it.
And that's it. Those were the reservations that you made for them. Wait time wasn't bad.
It was a bit long.
It was a reservation, but we got there a little bit early, so maybe 30 minutes at the
At the
most.
most.
The Marvel Cruise, you got to meet Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Man.
Groot.
Oh,
Well,
Groot! I forgot about Groot. Yes, yeah. So you got to meet those 4. The experience with them was
Spectacular.
yeah,
Off the charts.
Off the charts. Yeah,
was
that was
awesome.
amazing. Spider-Man, I think he probably spent 20 minutes chatting with the kids and doing different poses, and he was awesome. Iron Man,
He sounded like Tom Holland too.
he did. Hunter was.
Yeah.
Hunter
I was like,
sure it was
whoa.
Tom Holland.
It was like cool.
A little bit of a Tom Holland fan here.
Yeah.
Iron Man would come over to the audience while we were waiting in line, and he would like interact while we're waiting in line, which was totally cool. Black Panther spent a lot of time with you guys as well, asking about where you're from, talking about family. I think those experiences were incredible.
The Star Wars meet and greets, I thought the lines were great as far as how long you waited in them. You really didn't feel like you were waiting very long. But the character interactions really didn't do much for me. It was very quick. It was get the pictures, on to the next person. So while you weren't waiting in line very long, you weren't having much character interaction either. Now, with the random wandering characters, you had great interaction. Lots of time, lots of discussion.
Now Marvel was very different. Marvel had several big character meet and greets. You had Thor, you had Loki, you had Captain America, you had Captain Marvel. I'm kind of mixed on this one. This was the only negative thing that I really felt on this Marvel cruise. The lines were ridiculous. Ridiculous. Like we had our plan ahead of time where we were gonna go first stop see Captain America. Captain America, we waited in line for an hour and a half. An hour and a half. Now, after you pay for a Disney cruise, do you really want to wait in line for an hour and a half?
And as a
Or an
comparison, I don't
hour?
think we've ever waited an hour and a
No.
half for any character on a
No.
Disney cruise.
No.
Now, Disney World, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But on a Disney cruise, you rarely wait that long.
Yes. I did hear from one of the officers that early in the morning, everybody does tend to do the character meet and greets. That means the lines are a little bit longer. We did do some character meet and greets in the afternoon, and he was slightly right. In the afternoon, that's when we did Loki. It was a little bit shorter, like I said, about 45 minutes for Loki. I did feel a little bit more like it was a factory where we got in, got a picture real quick, and you're gone. So that was my only thing. Definitely worth it. The costumes were amazing. The characters were amazing. It did just feel a little bit rushed and long lines.
Next up is shows.
Kelly, what did you think about the 2 different shows?
2 that I saw, Marvel and the Doctor Strange, those were spectacular.
I loved the Marvel one. The Marvel one was so much better than the Star Wars one.
It had a
Did you see
story.
Yeah, I saw both. Star Wars was okay. I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, you'll also be like, whoa, there's all those characters. It was kind of like simple. So like, it just like lights would go off, a bunch of characters would go off, come back on. Lights would go on, they would do like a tiny little scene, go off, come back on, do a tiny little scene, and then they'd go off, come back, everybody would go on, and then fireworks, and that was the end.
So the best part was like the fireworks.
That sounds pretty simple. They go off, lights off. They come on, lights on. They go off, lights off. They go on, lights on.
And then with the Marvel one, they had such a cool show. I was like screaming every 5 seconds.
They actually
It
had
was
a
so cool.
story, and they had
They
other
did.
characters that weren't even on the ship. For
Yeah, they had Red
Yeah.
Skull, which I was like, that's awesome.
Can you see the excitement difference in their faces versus
Yeah.
Star Wars?
Yeah.
So like, there's this news part, cause like in
Oh,
the
yeah.
Marvel one, the news was there.
Yeah.
So-
Wait, Daily Planet. That was.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
That.
And
With the photographer.
even Spider-Man was a
Yeah.
photographer.
Yeah, so like it would go on the screen, and like the boss, I guess, was like asking if everybody was like online with their screens to see like who's there and who's not and who's filming stuff. And Peter Parker was there, and I started screaming at the top of my lungs. I was like, Peter Parker! I knew right when they were starting to film that Peter Parker was gonna be in there. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
And like he did this cute little thing that was like, he did like a thumbs up, and he was like, Peter, are you there? And he was like, oh,
Yes.
yep, I'm here.
Oh, and even Spider-Man in like the effects in the show.
He climbed a wall.
Oh yeah, and came down upside down like Spider-Man
I love
on
that
a
part.
string. Yeah.
And then like there was like Loki, and he was just standing up there looking down, and everybody started screaming no, but I was screaming yes because Loki
just
is
like
one of my favorite characters.
Loki.
I don't know if you can tell. I think the show quality for Marvel Day at Sea was just a little bit better than the Star Wars Day
Star
at Sea.
Wars.
No.
Star Wars.
No, it's already at the it's at the moon.
So let's do a quick recap for the first two things that we've gone over. So character meet and greets, I'm kind of gathering that it's kind of a wash. It's almost equal.
I would say it's almost
It's
equal.
almost equal.
You know, Star Wars is better in some areas, Marvel was better in some areas, probably about equal.
Yeah.
Show quality, I don't think there's any contest.
Yeah.
Marvel Day at Sea.
Yes.
So let's talk about my favorite subject, food.
I'd say the food on the Marvel cruise was so much better. Food on the Star Wars cruise was kind of boring.
So Star Wars, they gave us a holographic menu, but it was somewhat bland.
It just had like the names of the foods were, it was just names of the foods, nothing special.
But Marvel actually gave us colorful ones and actually made it pop and actually gave them themes, and the food was actually pretty good.
And the kids menus had like Thor's hammer and Captain America's shield. It was so cool.
Oh, there's a Captain America shield.
Yeah.
Like even your bread was themed. The marble
was.
bread.
Oh,
Was it? Oh, I
Oh,
didn't
yeah.
remember.
It was green.
Oh, it
And it
was named after Hulk.
marble instead of
I missed that part. Oh, that's funny.
I get
That's
it.
funny.
I
And
get
even
it.
talking about, Kelly and I went up to the pool to just grab a quick lunch, and we both were getting burgers, and then we looked to the left.
They had shawarma.
I know. I felt like immediately we already had our sandwich, but I'm like, Kelly, we're getting shawarma. You know,
Okay.
Iron Man, you know, Tony Stark never had shawarma. We need to do it. We need to do it.
If you don't understand why they're freaking out about shawarma, there is a scene in the Avengers where Tony Stark
It's
is
a,
like
yeah, it's a credit
dying.
scene, a bonus scene.
Where he's like dying. He's like, I found the shawarma place
You ever tried shawarma?
down a few blocks from here. Maybe if we win, we could go there. And at the post-credit scene, they were just in the shawarma restaurant eating.
Yeah, it was awesome. So Kelly and I both tried it, and it was actually really good. But I thought that was such a cool tip, and not a lot of people didn't even know that was on board. I mean,
Yeah.
which was like, I kind of like we found a hidden gem, Kelly.
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, even the food looked a lot better. I was not impressed with the Star Wars food. I wanted to get the steak because I normally like the steaks. Usually Disney cruise food is really good, and their steaks are exceptional. The server kind of warned me off the steak, and I'm glad she did because I saw it, and it was basically like a little bit of steak with a whole lot of fat. And then what she recommended was this. The only thing I can say, the only way I could describe it is a knockoff Chick-fil-A chicken patty. That was what she recommended.
Did you
It
like
was like
Chick-fil-A?
a deep fried chicken breast. Reminded me of kind of a so-so Chick-fil-A chicken patty.
Oh, not even a good Chick-fil-A patty.
I mean, Chick-fil-A chicken patties are good, but this was kind of like a generic version. So, like the food quality, I don't know. I didn't have the Marvel food, but the Star Wars food quality did not seem that great.
Voting on the better food. Do you have another food?
I have
thing?
another food thing. At the little place that has like the
I mean,
chicken
this
tenders.
is a food thing on the Marvel cruise. You didn't have anything
Oh
like
yeah! It's a cup. This thing comes off and then you can drink it. But there was a straw and I lost it, so. But it was actually
That was
really
even
cool.
better.
And nice. And now I can do all sorts of funny things with it. But at the place where you get like the chicken tenders and stuff, they had on the Marvel Day, they had like a Spider-Man one or like New York one, I guess. They had a New York hot dog for like
did
Spider-Man or Tony
Oh, cool.
Stark. So they had like a hot dog that was like Coney Island hot dog. or something.
Oh yeah.
And it was really cool. It was like a foot long and it had so much relish on it.
that. That's awesome.
It is
I didn't know
good.
about that either.
Do we need to
Food.
vote on it?
I don't think you need to vote.
No,
I mean,
Marvel.
Say-
this alone wins out for Marvel.
Now the point.
Hands down.
the last topic. What's the last topic?
Overall guest experience.
Well, I'm going to chime in with one overall guest experience that goes to the Star Wars side of this experience. And you may agree with me. At 12 noon on the Star Wars cruise, Tim and I ran up to the pool deck and we got to hear the Disney cruise horn. With a bunch of Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
Star Wars themed horns.
I heard
Yeah.
that.
That was
while I
pretty
on
cool.
edge.
Crystal Clear.
I only recognized a few like that one.
Oh, they were awesome. That is not in the Navigator. We heard that little tip from a friend, but it is not in the Navigator. So 12 noon, just kind of make your way up to the pool deck on your next Star Wars cruise. But I
So
thought
Marvel
that
didn't
was-
have anything like that.
They did not. I'm not sure if there's any like set songs that are Marvel.
There's only
You know what did
one.
happen?
What's that?
Before the show started, Spider-Man kept coming on. We've got a surprise at this
is
time,
true.
and that was really cool.
That is true.
I got
Wait.
super excited when that happened.
So what
Mom was
she-
like, it's
Which-
Spider-Man!
Which show?
So what she's saying is over the loudspeaker. So usually the cruise director or the captain will come over the loudspeaker.
It was like every character. There was even Iron Man saying
It
that
was?
Hulk wasn't on.
Yes. Yeah, so the characters would get
kinda
on the
took over the loudspeaker.
They did, yeah. So they'd like leave little comments on the loudspeaker, and that was actually pretty cool. I forgot
Yeah, that
about
was
that.
cool.
But again, you had to be in one of the main areas to hear it. You wouldn't hear it in your stateroom.
The first
but I
time
forgot
we
about
did,
that. That
the
is kind of
first,
cool.
The first time Mom started hearing it, I started freaking out, but we were in line for Captain America, so everybody was talking, so I couldn't hear it. But I
But
did
you
hear
heard it later,
I
too,
heard it
right?
later. Yeah.
Another topic on overall guest experience, I never really felt cramped or like anything was crowded when I was on the Star Wars one, but it looked like, and part of this is the fact that it's a smaller ship, so it's on the Magic versus the Fantasy,
Yeah.
but it looked like Marvel was a little more crowded and
Yes, would you
Somewhat.
guys agree? I would agree too, because everything with the Marvel cruise was on deck 4, deck 5. And of course the Disney Magic is much smaller than the Disney Dream, but or excuse me, the Disney Fantasy, but I did feel that I was moving from one crowd to the other crowd. On the very last night of the cruise, which this is super cool, but we actually got to see a preview of Captain Marvel before it actually even was
Oh, yeah.
released to the public, which was such a cool experience. But with that, the line started lining up like an hour ahead of time.
Oh, yeah.
And so getting through, you're like wiggling to get through. It was super, super crowded
But it was
during
pretty
that.
cool because there was like paparazzi there.
There was.
And like
Paparazzi.
they started like freaking out when they would see random people. They're like, "Are you like?" They saw me and they were like freaking out and they were like, "Are you one of the background dancers for Captain Marvel?" And I was like, "Yes."
It was awesome
Sure.
too. I just let
And
her
then they
go
thought I
and
was-
stood back. It
And
was
then
awesome.
they thought I was in High School Musical. They like made a joke. They were like, "Were you in High School Musical?" And I was like, "I'm not even in high school yet. I'm just in middle school."
So you really liked the drawing. You did the drawing on
Yeah,
Star Wars
Drawing
and
Academy.
Marvel. What did you think of the Drawing Academy?
I don't think yeah, I did do some on Star Wars, but I'd say it just depended on what you drew. Star Wars, they had iconic characters. They had BB-8. They had Chewbacca, I believe.
They had the little thingy. I forgot what its name was.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Porg.
The Porg.
Oh yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one that I drew.
Yeah.
Porg. And Marvel, they had Iron Man, Groot, and
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just depended on what character you draw.
I thought Spider-Man and I thought the Marvel characters were a lot more detailed,
Oh,
and
yeah.
the animators went like really, really fast. Like
But it
you
was
had to
really
like,
cool, though.
yeah, you had
Yeah.
to stay on top of it.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought that was a far more advanced.
All right, so overall guest experience, who wins?
So far, Marvel has won pretty much everyone, so I'm gonna say Marvel.
Overall guest
Marvel.
experience, I don't know.
Like,
All right, you go. What you say, Marvel?
I mean, overall
like-
guest experience, the easiest way, Which one did you have more fun at?
Marvel.
Then
Wait,
I'll say Marvel
so
too.
I'd say Marvel.
I'd say
I
Marvel
mean,
too.
Star Wars, there was like 5 billion things happening at once, so you couldn't choose to do one thing that you also wanted.
You couldn't be in 2 places at one time?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't be at 2
that's
places
true.
at one time
That's
because
true.
there was way too much, and then there would be one thing you want to do, but then another thing you want to do is at the same time.
All right, so Tim, what would you say? Would you stick with Star Wars? You saw the videos.
Oh
Would you
no,
stick with Star Wars?
just based on seeing the videos from Marvel, no, there's no contest. Marvel wins hands down.
All right, so I think on that one we agree with Marvel. So does this mean that we agree that overall the best?
So in the battle royale,
yeah, whoever wins.
themed
Marvel,
days
Star
at
Wars.
sea.
Who wins?
Marvel.
Marvel.
So you guys have seen both the vlogs for Star Wars Day at Sea and Marvel Day at Sea. Let us know in the comments. What do you think? Who wins? Star Wars or Marvel?
Love you all.
Can you deal with that?
Kind of.
Kind of,
Somewhat.
yeah.
Alright, it's kind of got flip over. Love you all.
Don't go back in my
Bye, guys.
Don't go back in
Keep on dreaming.